please send in your love, slap that love heart button. And I don't know what YouTube has. Does YouTube have a love heart button or something there? Some kind of animation. And welcome, Luke, to the show. Here we are. How's it going, man? How are you keeping?
Hey man, what's the story?
Great, great. Yeah, not too bad. How's the quarantine life going for you?
To be honest, man, I'm loving this. I've never worked so much than before. Like
Amazing.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah. Everybody that I'm sort of start the show with says pretty much the same thing, man. And they used to feel kind of people at the beginning were kind of like, oh, I don't know if I should say this. But I'm doing great, better than ever. But it's the truth. It's the truth. It's definitely, especially for artists, right? There's definitely something about pulling away from that normal sort of repetitive life into something different and discovering new things. And like, what have you sort of discovered in your quarantine sort of existence that you wouldn't have perhaps without it?
Well, over the last couple of weeks, just on a personal level, I've even started doing a lot of fitness stuff. So I'm even running 5K, like doing jogs every day, every couple of days even, and I'm walking every day. So a lot of that kind of stuff, getting at home with nature and stuff like that. I heard Saul talking about like getting like that sounds quite hippie-ish, but honestly, I love just especially with this weather. I live right beside a park here, like so it's really handy. So I'm doing a lot of that. I started running online workshops with poets and songwriters and stuff like that. So like that they run twice a week,
Hmm.
like two workshops
Nice.
and twice a week. So it's pretty cool. Also, I've started doing my own production, um, which has been really kind of interesting for me because it's like before, like I'm lucky I work with some really great producers, but I have had some in the past where I've had issues where I go into a studio and I'm not able to kind of get the sound I really want, and I'm not able to kind of communicate that with the producer. So now I'm able to do it. I can record my own demos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm doing a lot of that, which is it's really exciting. Now I can't wait to release the stuff that I'm recording right now and at the moment, like stuff I'm working on now. So it's been pretty busy, man. It's been
Yeah,
busy.
it's
So
awesome. It's great learning a new skill set, and it's interesting as well because you're not the only one to say with regard to um, sort of assuming a different role, right? So assuming the role of a producer for a bit, to be able to in the future communicate better with the producer, which is so important, right? When doing your single. With regard to Nocturne, is this something? So this is your upcoming single, which is released on the 5th of June. So did you work with a producer on Nocturne, and how did it come about? Tell us a little bit about the
yeah,
upcoming
so
single.
Nocturnal is
Oh, Nocturnal. Sorry.
yeah. So I wrote this song maybe about 2 years ago with an American singer-songwriter called Brenna Carroll. Brenna was over here working with loads of other singer-songwriters. This is my first time like releasing something that's written with another person, so it's quite exciting as well. And that session showed me like so many different things about songwriting. It changed my
Hmm.
songwriting abilities like for life, so I wrote it. I played it in a college band. I just graduated from Ballyfermot last year, so I was in Ballyfermot for 2 years, and I played it with my college band.
Hmm.
Really great guys. Like so, it kind of went from it being an acoustic song to being a full band song. And then
Hmm.
last summer, I decided to record what was essentially going to be an album, but then I was like, I'm not going to do. I'm not ready for the album yet,
Hmm.
so I'm just going to record like 5 or 6 songs, and this was one of the maybe the second or third song we recorded. So I recorded with Gav Doyle and Jack Keenan in Cabin Space Studios in Tala. And Gav is someone I worked with for years. Jack is someone who was actually played in one of my bands as well. So I knew the guys. So the communication thing, that issue wasn't there. They kind of knew me. They knew my sound. They knew what I was doing. So I was very lucky in that situation.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but the song it's quite deep. It's about the beginning of a relationship that I was in with somebody, and then it kind of ended abruptly. I ended it unfortunately, and then it just kind of, and then I have regrets about it. So the song is basically about the first time that I was with the person, so the nerves, the angst, the lust, everything that's involved in that first night, and
Hmm.
then the regrets afterwards. So it's very yeah, it's very. All my songs are quite emotional, but this is quite there, you know.
That's
So
brilliant, man. Fair play to you for just being legit. You know, I love that. Just like a legitimate songwriter expressing themselves through experience, true experiences. It's not plastic. It's not fabricated. So fair play to you, man, for that stuff. I genuinely have a huge respect for musicians like yourself, man. So keep doing that. You know, I mean, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it, for you? And it's healing too, right? I mean, like you're kind of reliving those emotions, and you're healing. You're not tucking them in, throwing them under the rug or whatever. You know, you're genuinely facing them, right?
yeah, and it is, and I feel this is something that's come up in a lot of my workshops. Like, you know, when we're on stage or when we're just doing stuff on Zoom, um, we're opening up wounds that we closed before, just because the vulnerability is something that people will be more open to, as you say. Like, you know, so I think it's yeah, I think it's special. Sometimes, you know, it opens up things that you don't really want to open up, but sometimes when someone comes up to you and at the end of a gig, or say like if they hear your song online or on radio or something like that, and they say to you, this song meant something to you, then that feeling of vulnerability was worth it. You know, it was so much more worth it. And I feel that's the reason why I play music, is to have that connection with people. And it's something that I always have to remind myself about. You know, it's something that it's part of me. You know, it's the reason why I play music, is to kind of connect with people straight away. It always has been.
Amazing. How long are you playing music for?
I'll give you the short story. So I played music when I was a kid. My dad gave me like a hand-me-down guitar and stuff like that, and I went to lessons for about 3 or 4 years. Wrote my first song when I was about 11 or 12, and then I just became a teenager, and I grew up in Tallaght, and the people I hung around with, it wasn't really a cool thing to be doing, you know, and playing music and stuff like that. So I knocked on the head for about 8 years. I played a bit in school, but I was never really given that push in school. So I think if I had been given that push in school, maybe it would have been a lot better. You know, maybe I would have continued doing it. And then, yeah, so long story short, I got back playing in 2012 when I was 20. So I was in bands and stuff for a while. I was in a kind of an alt rock band, which is funny for me because like I play folk singer songwriter pop music, like, you know what I mean. So it was different. It was a different kind of buzz then, but I learned so much from those bands that I was in. And then so I kind of started later than people because I gave up in that for that space of time, but I lived in that life. And when I say I lived, I lived. I did all the things a lot of people are doing now when I was young. You know what I mean? So yeah, when I got back into music, it was like, okay, this is me. And then, yeah, so I've been playing under my own name for the last 5 years, since 2015. And you mentioned the 250 gigs. That was my way of catching up on all the years that I missed, you know? Especially being a singer-songwriter, because I played, and I like when I was in bands, it was just I was relying on the guys as well. You know, I had that kind of safety net, you know?
Sure.
And I don't have that when I'm playing on my own. So I needed to figure out how to do it, how to work each room, how to play for each audience, no matter what it is, even if it be a loud audience, a quiet audience, or anything. So it was something that it was something I was very determined, and I was inspired by the likes of Ed Sheeran and these kind of people who did this kind of thing before he was famous, like before anything happened, he did this kind of thing. So I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. He played 300, I played 250, and then my voice gave up on me. So I was like, okay, I did a lot anyway. So
also he did 300.
Yeah, he did 312 or something.
What?
So yeah. So I became known as that person who was trying to play 300 gigs in a year.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I was going to ask you actually. Yeah, I was going to like, did you have a number in your head? You know, when you started out. So I guess you did. You had a rough idea of where you wanted to get to, right?
Absolutely, and I was quite naive at the time as well, you know. So I'd announce, "Hey everybody, my name is Luke Clerkin, and I'm trying to play 300 gigs in a year." And then I put that pressure on myself, so I had to keep doing it. And man, to be honest, like you've heard my songs before, like Stones, which I just released last month. I wrote it around that time, and it was a song that really, you know, was about my mental health. And I wrote it for me, but when I released it and I played it for people, it was for them. But at the time, it was my healing process to get myself through this and like the little stones become boulders when they're held for long enough is probably the most important message and that I've ever written. And I don't even think that it's one of these things when you're a musician and these kind of metaphors and stuff come to you. It was one of these moments I was like, did I actually write this? I googled it and I asked my like just to see if this was my lyric. You know what I mean? And it was like it came from somewhere. It was some thing, the Muse or something. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, it was something, you know, that time was a very amazing time, but also it had it had its downfalls. I remember texting my friends, it's like I don't even know if I want to do this anymore, and they reminded me why I was doing it, and it was the connection and all that kind of stuff, you know. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was something that, yeah,
That's
it's a time I look back on, and it comes up on my memories on Facebook all the time, and I'm like, wow, you know.
yeah, because I'm sure you get like a reminder every day almost, like, oh, you played this gig, what was it, 5 years ago? You played this gig 5 years ago, right? That's
So absolutely, but like from that year, I learned a lot, not just about like playing music, but I learned about the Irish scene, and you talked about it earlier to Saul about the community, the singer-songwriter scene in Dublin.
mm,
It's amazing, man. It's
mm,
there. It's just it's incredible, and to be part of that has been like the safety net that I missed from not being in a band, you know.
mm,
And it's something that just encouraged me to just keep going. And you know, I still have it. I still have my friends that I made 5 years ago. Some of them are now my best friends, you know, and some of them
mm,
I can just I know if I go months without seeing them or talking, to them, I ring them up and say, hey man, I'm in a bad place. Can you help me?
mm.
And like and they'll be there, you know. And it's special, man. It's really yeah. So
Amazing. No, it is amazing. Like the Dublin music scene is just such a beautiful community. It's there's so many wonderful musicians out there. You know, it can be quite daunting, I guess, as well for people maybe trying to get into it. Do you have like any advice for anybody that's kind of thinking of getting into sort of, let's say, because I mean gigging can be a little bit scary, right? Especially if you're like new to it. Like imagine, like, you know, you're going to obviously you don't have to imagine, you've had to live it, but you know, 8 p.m., you know, you have to show up. You're in a room. It's, you know, with people you don't know, and you've got your guitar with you, and you know, and you have to perform in front of people. You know, is there any kind of advice you'd have somebody in that position that's trying to get into
yeah,
sort of?
the reason why I went and did that, I started playing in town, is because I played a lot when I was in Tala, and I
Hmm.
used to play in a local place called the Metro in Tala. And no, the Metro is a mad nightclub, but during the weekend, you know, but
Hmm.
during the week, we used to have a singer songwriter night. Like I think it was like Monday and Tuesday, we used to go there. But all my mates were super good, and I was like, I was good, but I just wasn't as good as I wanted to be. So I remember talking to my friend in outside of one of our friends' studios one night, and I says to him, "Hey Liam, I don't really like playing in front of you because you're all so good, and it just makes me it just like I can't do this." And he's like, "Luke, why be nervous doing something you love?" And you know
Hmm.
that kind of really resonated with me, and I think that's what I'd say to anybody going into the scene. Also, there's so many people who have been in the same position. The likes of, these are my heroes, like Glenn Hansard, Damien Rice, all these kind of people, Irish people, have been in those basements. I'm referring to the International Bar, and in those rooms like Sinead, like where I would have met you, obviously.
Hmm.
People would have started out on those stages just like you are. Just remember that you've got to start somewhere, and I think that's the most important thing to know. And yeah, I think just and open mics and all that kind of stuff
Hmm.
are really for that kind of stuff. And then, you know, join a community, become part of a community. Like my community was the circle sessions, you know, and it still is. Like it's obviously I miss it now, but there's like loads of little communities going on around here, and you know, it's just special. Like it's a special place. So you're not alone. That's
Hmm.
what I'd say.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, great advice, man. Thanks for sharing that to people. Would you like to play a couple of tunes for us?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Just give me an L
Yeah,
second.
take your time, take your time. And guys, if you have any questions for Luke, now's your time. You know, do communicate with us. It's not a one-way system. You know, it's a multi-way system thanks to the internet. So, throw in any questions or queries you might have. Luke is a active member of the Irish music scene. So if you have anything to ask him, um, preferably music related, but no, it doesn't have to be music related. You can ask him anything.
Yeah, you can just PM me as well. Just like I'm an open book. So if you want to ask for any advice or anything, just give me a shout, and if I can't help you, I'll point you in the right direction.
Awesome. There you go.
So this song is called Ricochet, and I wrote it around this time last year. To me, it's probably I don't know, my best song for me, for personally. It probably is, because it's something that the lyrics and everything. It's one of them, and another thing about, like, with Stones, lyrics came and I don't know where they came from, and I googled them to make sure that I wasn't copying anyone else. But this song is about kind of having a friendship with somebody, but maybe wanting more, but not wanting to risk the friendship, because of that. So
Cool.
this song is called Ricochet.
Awesome.
Is this just a chemical reaction? The law of my attraction, being vulnerable with you. You say that I'm your light, but when fire meets fire, this fear might extinguish mine. Oh, mine. But only time can tell. I'm throwing coins in the wishing well, hoping they hit the bottom before I do. I have this time so well. I'm shooting arrows, but they're missing you. You might get caught in the ricochet. Is this just a chemical addiction? Part of my affliction of finding pain that was never there. And you don't like surprises, but surprise, surprise, I gotta keep this to myself, holding space right here for you. But only time can tell. I'm throwing coins in the wishing well, hoping they hit the bottom before I do. I have this time so well. I'm shooting arrows, but they're missing you. You might get caught in the ricochet. La da 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 da. Caught in the ricochet. La da 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 da. Caught in the ricochet. La da 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 da. Caught in the ricochet. La da 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 da. But only time can tell. I'm throwing coins in the wishing well, hoping they hit the bottom before I do. I have this time so well. I'm shooting arrows, but they're missing you. You might get caught in the ricochet.
Awesome, man. Great tune.
Thank you so much.
Is that tune, that tune's not up yet, right? We can't find that tune.
It's actually on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So that's Ricochet
Yeah.
with Luke Clerkin here. So would you like to play another tune for us while the guitar's in your hand, I guess?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So this is a new song that I wrote during the quarantine. I've written loads of tunes. So like I talked about what I was doing. I've written songs. I've done co-writing sessions. done a lot of marketing and stuff like that for Nocturnal, but songwriting is something that's, I think it's always there. It's something to kind of fall back on, and it has been for me. So this song is kind of about I was seeing someone for a bit just before the quarantine, and she unfortunately had to go home and stuff like that. But it's about what happened with that, and then kind of like being comfortable with that, her leaving. Yeah,
Awesome.
there's a deeper kind of story, but it's maybe for maybe a much more mature audience. But you'll
Nah,
get
it's okay. You can
it.
share anything you want here, brother. Nice one.
So this song is called. It's either called "A Lover for Every Day" or "Walk Away." So maybe people, if they have an idea, give me a shout.
Nice.
Try not to care. Try not to feel anything. Anything. It's being amazing for you. God, it's not for me. You've got a lover for every day, so I'll leave space just to walk away, away, walk away. You're a leaver, no deceiver. You can't lie, you can't lie. And now you're not here, you can see clear. I don't mind, we had our time. You've got a lover for every day, and I'll leave space just to walk away, away, walk away. You've got a lover for every day, and I'll leave space just to walk away, walk away. You got a lover, but I'll walk away. You want a lover, but I'll walk away. You've got a lover for every day, and I'll leave space just to walk away, walk away. You've got a lover for every day, and I'll leave space just to walk away.
Awesome, man. That's
Thank you,
great.
brother.
That's great. Have you played that? Are you doing live stuff as well on Facebook or live gigs and things like that?
I haven't done much, to be honest, man. That's the one thing I haven't been focusing on too much. I just wanted to get everything else rounded before I could do that kind of stuff, you know? So I probably haven't even played that song to, like, I played it to maybe my workshops and stuff like that, but, you know,
Brilliant.
it's been different for me. I've been, as I said, I was concentrating on the other stuff to kind of, because I've done so much performing live, I just need to get the other stuff better, you know. So
Yeah, well, thank first
I
of all,
have some stuff maybe coming up in the next month. So maybe I'll say keep an eye for people, anybody watching, keep an eye on my stuff, like, you know, on my socials at Luke Clerkin, on everything.
awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, giving us an exclusive. Once again, you gave us an exclusive of Nocturnal on Monday, and now you gave us another lovely exclusive. And we haven't decided on a song name yet, so tell you're giving the viewers a chance to possibly name it. What are the options once again before
So it's a lover for every day or walk away.
or
So
walk away?
yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, they rhyme. So either one, like, you know.
Either one works for you. Brilliant. And tell us
Yeah.
what have you been, because we touched on it before in the sound check. What have you been sort of focusing on lately? And obviously it's to do with the marketing. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of anything you've learned over the course of, you know, quarantine with regard to marketing and things like that?
Yeah, so in regards to marketing, what I've been doing is so like I learned a lot from when I released Stones. I just want to like I'm okay. I'm good at connecting with people in person, but online it's been a bit of a struggle with me for me. So I've learned
Mm.
how to kind of do that and to connect with people through that. So I like with Stones, I did a campaign where it was called "It's Okay Not to Be Okay" campaign, and basically I got people from all over the world to take pictures of themselves holding up the words "It's okay not to be okay," and I made a collage out of it, and I did all that kind of stuff. I learned a lot about that from that kind of stuff, and then with this new release, Nocturnal, I've stepped up my game. I've done a lot of different things like so first of all is I've revamped everything. So I've got myself a new logo. I've got all this kind of stuff. So I learned that that's obviously I'm a brand. I don't like saying that, but Luke,
Mm.
it's a brand. I need to look at myself as a brand at the same time because I want to. This is a business. It's like So and I
Mm.
hate saying that because I feel like I'm selling my soul in a way, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of that. Like just ways of just connecting with people and when I'm saying this, I'm thinking you should be doing live streams, Luke.
Mm.
But I like, that's obviously something, that's what, as I said, I'm gonna be aiming to do that soon. Um, yeah. So in terms of the connection wise, another thing is that I'm running this competition at the moment for pre-saves because obviously pre-saves are important to kind of get the music out there and all that kind of stuff. And so like
Mm.
your fans can have the basically the first listens to the single before anybody else. So I'm doing a little competition where I am going to write a song, a personalized song for people, who pre-save it. So it's a one person out. These people. Not gonna write for one song for everybody, but it's something that I want to do. I think giving someone the gift of a song is special, especially if it's personalized. I think one person has maybe written a song for me, and I've written
Mm.
so many songs for other people, like that I've had like kind of things with over years and stuff like that, or friends, or circumstances and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that's what I've been learning. I've been learning a lot of like how to just connect with people more online and to to push my music more and I'm working with Fluttertone at the moment as well, which has been lovely. So like they're kind of taking a lot of stress off me at the moment, which is
Mm.
amazing. So shout out to Colin and the guys, um, Colin and Alina and Rihanna, everybody. Like they're really good people, and they're
Mm.
people that I met on the scene. So again, for anybody who like is going to be on the scene soon or wants to get in after the quarantine, after the distance, what my friend would call it, the distance, um, you could get in touch with these guys because they run the Monday Club and all that kind of stuff. So they're really cool. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I told you earlier I'm going to go off on tangents
No,
about
it's lovely. That's why I'm giving you the space to say everything, man.
yeah. So yeah, I've just been learning a lot of the marketing side of things and just how to do it properly. And
Mm.
there's some posts where I'm actually going to take the piss out of myself as well. So it's just like because I want to show people that I'm not just like I love talking about mental health and I love talking about all that kind of stuff, but it's not all I talk about. I can make people laugh. I can take the piss out of myself. So I think that's really important. I want to show all different sides of who I am and like the branding side, but then the me, the person that I am. So I think that's
Mm.
really important. That's what I've been working on as well. I also have a couple of groups where like I asked of like fans or friends and who are helping me out with different things as well. So it's
Mm.
another way of connecting with people. Like so, it's really cool to have that kind of stuff. I'm not working with him, but he gave me some advice. Nathan Mack,
Mm.
is
Awesome
another
musician.
songwriter.
Mm.
Yeah, so he's one of my good friends that I've like met from the scene. We met when I was actually in that alt rock band, and he was playing with a guy called Waffles, and they were doing a Freddie Mercury tribute act. It was
Well,
insane.
I didn't even
I
know
didn't
about
even know
this.
about this. This was years ago. We met maybe in 2013. So this is about 7 years. I know Nathan about 7 years, but only in the last couple of years that have I really connected with him.
Mm.
Um, they won us in a battle of the bands. There was always this resentment towards them because they did this. But yeah, but he's helped me out a lot. So I've learned a lot of it from him. Like he's a mastermind at all this. He's learning
He
so
is.
much as well, and
Yeah.
he's passing on the advice and everything. Like so, it's just It's amazing.
It's great. It's great to connect with like-minded people and people that are sort of on that same wavelength and that same on the same track in a way, and you kind of meet in the middle somewhere and share advice and ideas. So it's actually beautiful. The network here, and when you find somebody you can really understand and also work with them is beautiful. But also as well with regard to your marketing as well, I think it's fantastic because what you're doing as well is you're giving back something to people. It's not like you're just spamming and throwing stuff out there. You're actually genuinely giving something to people, which is amazing. And the fact that you are so genuine as a songwriter, overall anyway, for you to write a song about somebody is definitely holds a lot of weight. It's not like the concept of writing a song for somebody because anyone can try and do that, and how well they'll do or whatever. But the fact that you are a genuine songwriter, there's more depth to that. So it's awesome, man. What you're doing is great. So well done. Well done on your recent thing. Do whatever feels right. You don't need to do the live stuff if you're not in that mode. You're in marketing mode. You're in your own mode, and that goes for everybody, right? Like I haven't touched a drum set in like 2 months. God, sorry, drum gods. I've neglected I've neglected my daily, routine regiment, but and I'm loving this, I'm loving being able to connect with people. So for me, I'm just embracing that. So awesome, brother. So yeah, thank you so much for coming onto the show and connecting and expressing yourself and playing a couple of tunes, man. Is there anything you'd like to sort of mention? I'd love actually, yeah, just before I leave you, with regard to the workshops you're holding, are they open to the public? Are people and singer-songwriters able to connect with them at the moment, or is that something planned for later? Or
At the moment, I have to, if I'm not, and they're quite full. But what I
Mhm.
want to do is probably I'll open up another one, and I think eventually after this is over, after the distance, I'm referencing a guy called Tyg Williams, who's a singer, songwriter, and poet in one of the groups,
Mhm.
and he's a song called Before the Distance. And so after the distance, yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I don't want to do an open mic or anything. I want to have a musician support group, a
Mhm.
support network.
Great.
Is having this, as much as it's for these other songwriters, it's helping me as well. It's helping me it's getting me up off my ass and actually getting me to do something, you know what I mean. So
Mm.
I think it's something that we will could exist in the new world that we're going to go into after all
Mm.
this. So to answer your question, get on to me. Just
Mhm.
if anyone's interested, get on to me. And they call it safe space sessions.
Safe
Safe.
space sessions. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Triple
like,
S.
yeah, exactly. So you come in, everyone presents a song or a poem or whatever they want, and we'll critique it, and it's all it's all constructive, and it's special, and it's honestly, and there's always this feeling sometimes when I leave the Zoom, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could have done this longer. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's something I love it. I have one this evening, and it's something I'm really looking forward to as well.
Awesome.
And
Great. Fair
then
play
it's
to you.
about connecting people, and it's creating communities as well. So yeah, anybody who wants to get involved, get on to me. And if you can't get into the groups that I have now, I'll make a group just for you and for other people, and we can start it.
Deadly, Luke. That's awesome, brother. So, Nocturnal releasing on the 5th of June as well. So, we're looking forward to that official release. Best of luck with the marketing, man. If there's anything you want to share with me or anything like that coming up to it, please do let me know. It's been absolutely beautiful to reconnect with you, man. Have a lovely day. Enjoy that sunshine, man.
I'm
Have a
gonna go
great
out.
day.
I'm gonna go out. Thanks, brother. Take care, right?
My pleasure. See ya.
Cheers, man. Bye bye.
All right. So, that was the awesome Luke Clerkin, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to his upcoming release, Nocturnal, on the 5th of June. Definitely follow him on the social networks, guys, on Facebook. He's doing a lot of hard work, and he's contributing a lot to the musical world and non-musical world. Anyway, he's also running a competition. So if you guys pre-save his song, um, you'll get into a draw, and you'll get a song written by you. Yeah, does that make sense? A song written by you for you. By Yeah, you know what I mean. Luke's gonna write you a song about you. There we go. So, which is awesome, and it's actually a brilliant idea.